Alright, we're back with another exciting episode of the Matt's Math and More. I am Matt. We're going to do some math. We're really not going to do anything more. I don't know why I put Matt's Math and More, but that was really the only domain name left. Everything else was taken, so that's what it is. Maybe someday I'll do some more. Right now it's just math. Today's lesson 2-8 in your math expressions. It's rounding using decimals and whole numbers. If you're not following math expressions, it's rounding, same skill, 2-8, not very hard, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Alright, let's look at some examples of rounding that you're going to see brought to you on homework tonight. Sometimes it'll ask you to round to the nearest tenths, so you're going to have to remember these place values. So there was tenths, you remember we talked about hundredths, you might be asked to round to the nearest hundredths. You also might be able to ask just to round to the nearest whole number, so that's not even to the decimals yet. That's just in the unit, the number one. So let's take a look at three examples, a couple examples of tenths. Let's say you get a number like 32 and 341 thousandths. Now, they're asking you to round to the nearest tenths, so what you have to do is look at the number in the tenths place. So number 4. Now you probably heard the old expression 5 and above, give it a shove, or 4 and below, let it go. What you're really doing is looking at the number directly to the right. Let me show you what that means, though. You might know that little handy jingle, but not know what it means. What it means is you're thinking about a number line. So our number line is going to end at the tenths because it tells me it's only going as far as the tenths. So we're going to go to 32.34. I'm starting at 4 because it tells me to. Or 32.35. So that's my answer is either going to be 32.34 or 32.35. And here's how it looks on a number line. You all know in the middle of a number line would be 32.345. 32.34, 341, 342, 443, 344, 345, 6, 7, 8, 9, 35. Now, where does 32.341 fall on the number line? Well, does it fall here or here? It falls way over here. 32.341 would be over here on a number line. So the closest tenth is 32.34. If you're just using that little jingle, 5 or above, give it a shove, 4 below, let it go, that's below. You're going to let it go. 32.34. Let's look at another example of tenths. If you get 5 and 39 hundredths. Now you know you're only going to the tenths place. So that's asking, is it going to be closer to 5.3 or 5.4? Now you just look at the number to the right. So you don't have to draw your number lines, but if it's going from 5.3 to 5.4, you know right down the middle of the number line is 5.35. And 5.39 obviously is way over here on the number line. So it is closer to 5.4. We're going to the tenths in this particular case because right over here the question asks you to round to the nearest tenths. Alright, so same rule applies to hundredths, except we're just moving over one place value. So your answer is going to be rounded to the nearest hundredths, which means your problem is going to go to the hundredths place. Let's look at one example like 78 and 435 thousandths. What I would do here is figure out which number's in the hundredths place, tenths, hundredths. That's telling me it's either going to be a 3 or a 4. We're either going to have 78.43 or 78.44. And if you look at this 5, it's the 5 or above, give it a shove rule. On the number line, this would be right down the middle. And for this particular one, that comes out to be 78.44 and 44 hundredths. It's got to end in the hundredths. Here's one more example to the nearest hundredths. If you have something like 5 and 234 thousandths. You find out which one's in the hundredths column, tenths, hundredths. Look next to it. And now, is this going to be a 3 or a 4? That's your only choices. Your only change in this one, it's going to be a 3 or a 4. Well, this 4 tells you that on the number line, it's less than 5. So on the number line, it's closer to the 3. So your answer is going to be 5 and 23 hundredths. It has to end in the hundredths because I asked you to round to the hundredths. All right, you may also be asked to round like to the nearest whole number. So if they give you a decimal, like 7 and 42 hundredths, we're going to look at the nearest whole number. That's this guy here, because these are decimals. So we're just going to look here to the right, and this is lower. So really you're asking yourself, the 7's the magic number. Is it going to be a 7 or an 8? Well, 7.4 is less than 7.5 on the number line, so the answer is just going to be 7. That's the nearest whole number. Let's look at one more example of that. One more example of a whole number might be 15 and 7/10. So my nearest whole number in this case is right here. Is this going to be a 15 or a 16? Well, 15 and 7/10, that passes the 5 line, so the halfway mark. So it's going to be 15.7. We'll end up just plain old 16. That would be your nearest whole number. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy.